Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and today is the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft, just a couple of hours away. So we are going to be doing our first and only 2023 NFL mock draft. I am going to try to predict accurately and get all 31 picks correct in this year's NFL Draft. How possible is that? Basically impossible. It's like getting a complete 100% on a March Madness bracket. It's basically impossible to predict all of the picks, but if there ever was a year to do it, it would be this year because there's only 31 instead of 32 picks because Roger Goodell stole a pick from the Miami Dolphins. So before we get into things, though, if you do end up enjoying today's video, you have a great time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Whether you are new to the channel or not, make sure you hit that like button down below as well. And again, I'm going to try to be as accurate as possible, but I am not Mel Kiper. I don't claim to be some draft guru. We're just going to have fun here and try to predict all of the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. If you guys want to watch me as well as a couple other guys react to the 2023 NFL Draft as it's going on, it will be in the pinned comment link in the video description so you can watch the live stream. So at number 1, we have the Carolina Panthers up. They make that trade with the Chicago Bears, getting the number 1 overall pick. And while a couple days ago there were some rumors about Will Levis, and earlier on in the offseason, maybe it was going to be CJ Stroud, to me, the no-brainer pick is Bryce Young. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. I know there are size concerns. He's as small as Kenny Pickett's hands, but ultimately, Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this draft, and I believe he is more than worthy of being the number 1 overall pick in this draft. So Bryce Young, lock it in. Basically, the draft starts at number 2 because Bryce Young is going to be the number 1 overall pick. At number 2, we have the Houston Texans, and there really hasn't been too much noise out of the Texans on who this pick was going to be. If you remember last year, a lot of people thought that Sauce Gardner was going to go to the Houston Texans, and then bada bing, bada boom, they select Derek Stingley. So while I think the no-brainer pick here would be Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher out of Alabama, so a Alabama double off the rip, there's also a chance they just want CJ Stroud. There's a chance that while we haven't heard quarterback rumors to the Texans, maybe they think they can get one later in the draft. I don't know about that, but look, are you really going to go into the season with Davis Mills? I wouldn't think so. But you never know, they are the Texans after all. And then the other pick that I think they could end up going with here, you have to scroll down a little bit, it could be Tyree Wilson. I don't think that's going to be the pick. I do think, though, they will end up going with Mr. Will Anderson, but I do think it's between those 3 pretty clearly. For me, at number 3, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, recently, it came out, I'm recording this video at about around 12 Eastern Standard Time on Monday, that the Cardinals are seeing a lot of trade offers coming their way. The teams want to move up for this pick. And while I thought initially that the Arizona Cardinals were going to get iced out of making a trade, right? Everyone knows the Cardinals don't want to make this pick. They want to trade down. I thought, hey, maybe, just maybe, they get stuck in this position and they have to take, for instance, a Devin Witherspoon or someone like that, right? Just kind of stuck in their ways, have to make this pick. But we are going to make a trade. I don't think a team like the Seahawks is going to move up here. They are at pick number 5. My prediction is going to be at number 11, the Tennessee Titans are going to move up for this pick. The Tennessee Titans at pick number 11. So we're going to have to do a pick swap here. And then the Titans are going to have to give up, I would assume, another first rounder. Maybe a third rounder this year. Whatever it is, right? I'm not here to predict exactly what the trade is going to be, but we are going to offer this trade, and it worked. So the Tennessee Titans have moved up to pick number 3, and they are going to make this selection. Obviously, you don't just trade up to trade again unless you're the guy from fucking draft day. So we're up on the board here. They obviously traded up for a quarterback, and it's really the pick of the litter here. Seems like CJ Stroud is moving down in a lot of people's minds because CJ Stroud does bad on this cognitive test, right? He isn't great in between the ears, they're saying. But let's be honest with you, CJ Stroud is a pro-ready quarterback. CJ Stroud could step in year 1 and be the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. I think you would be crazy to draft Will Levis or draft Anthony Richardson over him. So we are going to go with CJ Stroud. At number 4, now we have the Indianapolis Colts, and I think they're also going quarterback. I think maybe they're a little disappointed that they can't draft CJ Stroud, but they are going to go quarterback. And the quarterback's either going to be Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, whoever the Indianapolis Colts believe to be the better quarterback. I personally would go with Anthony Richardson. I don't love either of these quarterbacks, but I do think, gun to the head, if I had to pick one, I would pick Anthony Richardson. At number 5, now we have the Seattle Seahawks, and this is a situation where I think the fall of Jalen Carter has gone too far. I think had CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson been available at number 5, then we could end up seeing the Seattle Seahawks draft CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson. But I don't think Pete Carroll is going to let the quote-unquote character issues get in the way. Many people have talked about how Jalen Carter is the best player in this draft, and I don't think he's going to make some type of crazy free fall. He's going at number 5. At number 6, we have the Detroit Lions. Jameson Williams and a bunch of players got suspended from the Lions for gambling. I don't think that necessarily means that the Lions would go wide receiver here, since they did pay the high draft capital for Jameson Williams. They obviously still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They could go tight end because they got rid of Hawkinson, but I think drafting a guy like Dalton Kincaid at number 6 is a little bit egregious. I think they would probably just end up drafting the best player available. I think they would just want to go ahead and add another corner to their team. Now the question is, do the Lions believe it's going to be Witherspoon, or do they think, or do the Lions like Witherspoon better or Christian Gonzalez? We're going to go with Gonzalez this time, but if you took Devin Witherspoon, I'm not going to argue, right? If you think, oh, Nick, you're an idiot, should have went Witherspoon, then go ahead and think that. We'll see what happens tonight. After that, we get the Las Vegas Raiders at number 7. I think the Raiders are a team that wants a quarterback. I think the Raiders could easily go Will Levis here. I doubt they are going to start the year with basically no quarterback like they have right now. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy, but is Jimmy Garoppolo really the answer for the future? I don't think so. But the problem lies with Will Levis. Because I wish you would tell me his exact age. He's 23.8. Do they really want to draft a 24-year-old at pick number 7? I don't think so. I don't think so. So while I would not want to go into the season with Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback, while I think Jimmy Garoppolo absolutely stinks, I think they're kind of in a pickle here and might be stuck doing that. So we're just going to go best player available, Devin Witherspoon, to the Raiders. Now the Falcons are up. And the Falcons are a team here where if Will Levis does not get selected right here, Will Levis could make a free fall down the draft back to the Houston Texans, which would be very interesting, right? The Texans go ahead and get Will Anderson, and then boom, they get their franchise quarterback potentially in Will Levis, but I don't think that's going to happen. If the Falcons pass on a quarterback and go with the quarterback crew that they have, it would be absolutely laughable. So we're going to go with Will Levis here to the Atlanta Falcons. At number 9, we have the Chicago Bears. And while the sexy pick, the fun pick is Jackson Smith and the Jigba, link him back up with his quarterback, Justin Fields, I think the Bears are going to go safe. They are going to not be silly. They're going to metaphorically wrap their willy. They're going to go with the safe pick, and they are going to protect Justin Fields and draft Peter Skoronski, tackle out of Northwestern. At number 10, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles are a team where I could see them doing a variety of things. Maybe they want to just go offensive line. They believe that they have this star-studded team. They just made the Super Bowl. The NFC is a little bit soft, so they're going to go ahead and just draft an O-lineman. Or maybe they want to go ahead and get some more defensive interior guys. Maybe they want Nolan Smith. They want to build an even better defense. Here we are going to go with Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Eagles are a team where I feel like we don't really have any players like penciled in for the Eagles, whereas there's a lot of teams where it's like, hey, if Skoronski falls to the Bears, it's basically a no-brainer that he would be selected there. Same thing with like the Falcons. If Levis falls, it's a no-brainer. With the Eagles, it's more up in the air in my opinion, but we're going to go with Kalijah Cansey. Next up at number 11, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They moved down to make this selection. Now, this is a spot that is a little bit tough because the Arizona Cardinals basically need everything, right? They don't just have a one glaring need. They need everything. They have a quarterback. They have their guy of the future with Mr. Kyler Murray, depending on when he comes back, but he's obviously their guy. Now, it would not surprise me at all if the Arizona Cardinals wanted to get a little bit cute and they just draft Bijan Robinson, or maybe because it seems like DeAndre Hopkins is out of there, they could just draft Jackson Smith-Njigba, and that would not surprise me either. And honestly, that's the way I'm going to go. I know it's not necessarily the biggest position of need, but they need everything, and DeAndre Hopkins seemingly gone. So we're going to go Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now we are up with the Houston Texans at this pick, and I think here the quarterbacks are all gone. They kind of tried their luck. They're waiting for a quarterback. Maybe they go with Hendon Hooker. Maybe they're fucking crazy and they want to draft Hendon Hooker, which to me would make no sense, but maybe it does happen. We're going with Nolan Smith, taking the safe bet out of Georgia. The guy was dominant. He's amazing. And just continuing to build up an excellent defense for the Houston Texans to maybe carry the fact that Davis Money Mills is absolutely terrible. At number 13, we have the Green Bay Packers after making that trade with the Jets, obviously losing Aaron Rodgers, moving up 2 picks to number 13 from pick number 15. At number 13 here, we are going to go with an offensive player. Nothing would be sweeter to me, like in terms of just being funny. Aaron Rodgers is gone, and now you go ahead and finally draft that offensive player in the first round. I think it is going to be a tight end, not a wide receiver. If JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, is still there, I can see them going with him. It's either going to be Dalton Kincaid or Michael Mayer. I think both of them are great, and both of them are, in my opinion, easily going in the first round. We might even see 4 tight ends go in the first round. So we're going to go with Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame just to give Aaron Rodgers a nice kick directly in the cock on his way out. At number 14, we got the New England Patriots. A lot of rumors about the Patriots not loving Mac Jones, and it makes sense. Mac Jones hasn't been that great. If we know anything about the Patriots, it's that we should have no idea who they're going to pick. No fucking clue. They might trade out of this pick. They might pick some guy that you've never even heard of inside of the first round. They might take a guy that most people have graded as a third-round player. But if I know anything about the Patriots, is that they're just going to play it safe. They're just going to draft someone simple. Don't overthink things, even though they tend to overthink things and draft some random player. Paris Johnson Jr. Protect Mac Jones. Now we got the Jets up. They just acquired Aaron Rodgers, and you know what you're going to do when you get a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers who is about to need a cane because his ass is getting so old. You draft a tackle. You could go ahead. It says they need a linebacker. Sure, you could draft defense. Shore up the defense even more. But you can do that later in the draft. I don't think you're going to find a tackle like Broderick Jones later in the draft, so that is going to be the pick. At number 16, we have the Washington Commanders, left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. They need a quarterback, but again, I don't think that they should be drafting a quarterback at pick number 16. Don't think Hendon Hooker should be going this high. So we are just going to go ahead and draft some more offensive firepower. Boom, boom, firepower. Like the, what's that movie called? Fuck. Night at the Museum. Night at the Museum. They could go Bijan. There's a lot of rumors about Bijan Robinson. But we are going to go with another tight end, baby. Dalton Kincaid again. I think this first round, littered, sprinkled with tight end talent. And number 17, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers are a team that I think just wants to continue to build defense. I don't think they need Brian Branch. There's a lot of talk that there won't even be a safety taken in the first round from what I have heard. So we're just going to go with Deonte Banks out of Maryland, just continuing to shore up the Steelers defense. Now, there are a lot of receivers that could be going in the first round. But the Steelers just brought in Allen Robinson. Would make no sense for them to go wide receiver. At number 18, we got the Detroit Lions back up on the clock. Remember, at pick number 6, they went with Christian Gonzalez. At pick number 18 here, I think they just continue to build up the defense. You could see them go with double corner. I doubt that's going to happen. I think they're going to go with Myles Murphy, edge rusher, out of Clemson. I know some people, some Lions fans might be clamoring for a wide receiver, but I just don't see it. Back-to-back years taking a wide receiver in the first round when they already have Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's not like Jameson Williams is suspended for the whole season. So I think they're going to end up going with Myles Murphy here. Back up on the clock with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tom Brady-less Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think the Buccaneers are not going to do something crazy here. I think they're just going to say, you know what? Let's just shore up the offensive line. We'll figure out quarterback next year. Hopefully they suck in their opinion. Like, hey, we win like 3 games. Baker is absolute dog shit. And then they go ahead and get Caleb with the #1 overall pick. I guess that would be the hope. So they're just going to draft tackle Darnell Wright again. I think they're just not going to overthink things. I don't think they're going to reach on a tight end. I think they're just going to go quarterback. But it wouldn't shock me if with all the tight ends that are still left available, if they drafted a Darnell Washington type in the first round. At number 20, we move to the Seattle Seahawks. And while I think some people might say this is an absolutely insane in the membrane pick, I'm doing it anyways. The Seattle Seahawks are going to select. They already had a pick earlier on. They got Jalen Carter. They're going to select wide receiver Jordan Addison. Obviously, they have DK Metcalf. They have Tyler Lockett, but Lockett's getting up there in age. This would be probably the greatest wide receiver core in the NFL with Jordan Addison, Lockett, and DK Metcalf. Jordan Addison is a fucking monster out of USC. My Dolphins would have picked at pick number 21. Can you do something for me? But that bastard Roger Goodell stole our pick. At number 21, we have the LA Chargers. And I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this pick, but I am going to go ahead and go out of the ordinary. And we're going Bijan Robinson to the LA Chargers. There's a lot of talk about how Austin Eckler wants out of the LA Chargers. So Eckler out, Bijan Robinson in. It's like they never even missed him. I think if Jordan Addison was there, they would have went Jordan Addison, but Bijan Robinson is the pick, and they get rid of Austin Eckler. Again, this pick would make no sense if Austin Eckler is still there, but I think they do end up getting rid of him. Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens, and the wide receiver core of the Baltimore Ravens. You smell it. You can smell it through the screen. It is absolute dog shit. They have the worst wide receiver core, in my opinion, in the NFL, and I think they go with the best wide receiver available, whoever they believe to be that guy. We are going to go with Quentin Johnston out of Texas Christian University. Saw him in the Natty. I like Quentin Johnston. I think he's a great player. I think the Ravens would be happy to have him with Odell Beckham Jr. They also have Hollywood Brown, but let's be honest, I think Quentin Johnston's the pick there. At number 23, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and I think we see a bit of a wide receiver run here. Just a 2-run, quick little run, maybe 3 with the Jaguars. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be another one, but we're going wide receiver here. We're going Zay Flowers. It's reported that a lot of teams like Zay Flowers. Wouldn't surprise me if the fucking Patriots took Zay Flowers number 14, but I don't want to say that because we all know deep down that the Patriots love nothing more than disappointing their fans and not drafting the player that the fans want. So we're going to go with Zay Flowers. We obviously just saw the fact that Adam Thielen is now gone and in Carolina with the Panthers, so I think Zay Flowers makes a ton of sense with Justin Jefferson. That would be also another amazing wide receiver core. At number 24, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They could go O-line. That really would not be surprising at all, but we're going to go with Lucas Van Ness. I've seen so much steam on Lucas Van Ness. I would kind of be shocked if he wasn't picked at this point, but Tyree Wilson is also available. Tyree Wilson has done a free fall in this draft. I think a lot of people would be like, Nick, why do you have Tyree Wilson going earlier? So we're going to go ahead and pick him here, pick number 24, even though I think he could also go higher. That's why these drafts are so hard to predict, because you never know what's going to happen. I think, though, if Tyree Wilson doesn't go number 2, he could fall this far in the draft. So at 24, we're going to go with Tyree Wilson. At number 25, we have the Giants, and I think this is going to be a spot where Lucas Van Ness could go. I think they're probably just going to go best player available. Whoever they think is the best player, that's who they're going to go with. So we're going to go with Lucas Van Ness here. Brian Branch also makes sense. We could also see the Giants go wide receiver, but I don't think they would do that with the committal they kind of have to Wan'Dale Robinson, who they just drafted. They brought back their other receiver. So we're going to go Lucas Van Ness. At number 26, we got the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure the Cowboys would be perfectly happy if Bijan Robinson was here, but he's not here. And I think they are going to go tight end. They just got rid of Dalton Schultz. So why not pay a first-round pick for Darnell Washington? The Cowboys, Jerry Jones gets his rocks off on that explosive firepower he loves. He's addicted to the offensive output. He's addicted to a guy like Darnell Washington out of Georgia. I think that makes perfect sense. At number 27, we got the no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. The Bills continue to be Super Bowl favorites year in and year out, and they continue to choke. As a Dolphins fan, I love to see it. I think they're going to go ahead and go with a corner here. I think Joey Porter is the best corner available. Could go with Emmanuel Forbes as well. I think Joey Porter is interesting for the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills want to build more defense. They already have the offense. There's rumors they might get DeAndre Hopkins in a trade with the Cardinals. So why not go with some cornerback help? We could see them, though, get a little bit crazy, right? Maybe D-Hop's not in the realm of possibilities. If a guy like Zay Flowers falls, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they took him. Maybe they want to go with the speed. They want Gabe Davis number 2. And they go with fucking Jalen Hyatt. But I think they're just going to keep it safe. Don't be silly, wrap your willy, Joey Porter. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. And we are just going to go with the Bengals taking the biggest position of need. That's DB. They have that bum Eli Apple. They have really no notable cornerbacks. I think they just keep it safe. Just draft another corner here. Don't overthink things, and they go with Emmanuel Forbes. Though an interesting spot, they lose Hayden Hurst. He also goes to the Carolina Panthers like Adam Thielen. I would love to see Sam Laporta, Luke Musgrave, one of these guys on the Bengals because it would be sick for fantasy. But let's be honest here. I think it's going to be Emmanuel Forbes. I think they want to continue to make that defense better. At number 29, we have the New Orleans Saints. Now, I have seen that outside of a couple of guys, a lot of people don't love this O-line class. So it's possible that while Osiris Torrance looks great on PFF, maybe the Saints don't love them, or love him. But I think they should want to build a better offensive line for Derek Carr. So we're going to go with Florida, Osiris Torrance. And then at number 30, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles went with Kalijah Kancey at number 10. So again, pick of the litter. They might just go crazy, draft Jalen Hyatt, get that speed. But I think they're going to keep things safe. Don't be shocked if Jahmyr Gibbs gets drafted by the Eagles. That could happen. I think they're probably going to go O-line. They might get that Kelsey replacement with John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz, John Michael Schmitz. But you know what? We're going to have fun. We're going Jahmyr Gibbs. Final pick of the first round, pick number 31, because again, the Dolphins were raw dogged by Roger Goodell. Fuck you, Roger. Number 31, Chiefs. The Chiefs, their wide receiver core sucks. You know what? We're going to make the most Chiefs pick ever. Go with the speed. The man who took the Alabama Crimson Tide and fucked them directly in the ass. I wish it just had stats. For one game, Alabama 85.8 PFF rating. The guy went in against Alabama. I wish I remember the exact amount of touchdowns. I tweeted it out a couple months ago. It was crazy. Do we have any stats on this guy? The answer is no. But the guy was insane against Alabama. He's a great player. He's got the speed. And the Chiefs love speed. They love speed more than Tony Montana. So thank you guys for watching. Jalen Hyatt, the 31st overall pick. You can see the whole draft on the screen in a second. When it generates, we're going to actually zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole board. This is what we're going with. Is this going to be exactly what happens? Probably not, but we're going to hope it is because that would be sick. Again, if you want to watch the live stream, it's not going to be on this channel. It's going to be linked in the video description on Stochastic DFS. We're going to have a great time discussing the draft starting at 8:30, I believe, so a little bit into the draft, but that's only because normally the beginning of the draft is as slow as turtles having intercourse. It takes forever, but we'll be breaking it down fantasy football style. I love you guys all so much. Hope you have a great guys' day. And as always, good boy.